See, if this red light is to be believed, I believe that we are live here on this Monday night. Hello, everyone. My name is Harry, aka the Moving Target, here for a new exciting episode of Low Key on the Wheeler Terrence Network. Tonight's topic, we're going to talk about tabletop RPG games and discussions around it. I'm going to put it, I've been out of the gaming world for a while, not by choice, involuntarily, not RPGing. Yeah, I've been, how can I put it? Been just teased with once a month gaming sessions. It's not enough. I need more. So I discussed all the things around it. This episode just had free-form conversation with it. But of course, as you guys know, I don't fly solo, and the noise outside is because we're just recovering from the storm and it's 50 miles per hour wind. So if I disconnect tonight, that's what's why. Anyway, so we're bringing everyone else tonight. So, because you guys know I don't fly solo. So we got the cutthroat himself, Reinhold. Reinhold, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, so role-playing is a fun pastime, but you got to play to win. So that's what I say.
Okay, right. But I talk about like RPG games, so like that. There's no winning in it.
Sure, there is. There's always winning.
Oh dear God! All right, and then of course,
Game there's winning involved. It's the way it
is. Bring Vincent. Vincent, how are you?
Good. I was glad to hear that Reinhold, known arsonist, is probably the one that would be the DM that goes to kill the party. Mm-hmm. The one is like, oh yeah, no. I want to win this game. I know it's supposed to be cooperative storytelling, but I want to win this fight. So yeah, no. It's probably the one that will roll the dice behind the screen and go, oh no, I didn't fail again.
At least when I do that to your guys' team, I'm rolling real dice. I actually show you guys, like, you guys see this crap?
Yeah.
That was brutal. Some people go say, like, you should just enact the rule that you don't crit. It's like, no, I'm playing too. I get the crit. It's my game. They crit on. I crit on them too. Let them take a crit. It's more fun.
It's perfectly fine. It's just more of if you're playing to win, that means you're making the other people of the party lose.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not playing to win. I'm playing to. I like to play to wound. I like to. I don't really see myself winning until like I get some grown men crying at my table. Then I know. Then I know I've won.
So that only happened when I made you cry as well. So that's
fine. It's fine. As long as there's some crying, that's all that matters. So. So this past weekend I was on the big show with Kat and Moni from another podcast called the Fake Ass Book Club.
Yeah, my invitation got lost in the mail, I guess.
Anyway, so it was the episode with Reinhold, it was for Black History Month, and you just tipped the scales to 2 white, so we just wanted to make
it too much.
I mean, if it was for that, Spank would be replaced by me. I'm the closest thing to the other black person on the
network. No, we have Niece. We've also got Niece.
Niece doesn't count. He's a raccoon.
Niece fast.
Kevin D's put his DNA results to show you. He's got some black in him, not enough to say the N-word, just joked.
He was a piece of paper that just says part Wakandan. That's all it says.
Yeah, I got a lot of more blood in me from all the raping and pillaging from the back in the day. So
it's okay. Modern sock dems don't know what Moors are, so unless they're black. If they're black, they know exactly who the Moors are. If they don't, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. See, Reinhold thinks I'm joking like this. I'm telling you right now, you could probably talk to any Gen Zer. They have no idea who the Moors are. They were taught that.
You got to watch the movie True Romance. It tells you all about it.
I don't like you putting up your historical pornography. Okay.
No, True Romance is a Tarantino's first actual movie.
I once again do not put you. Yeah, I've seen Dust to Dawn. That was barely a horror action movie.
There's a scene in there where Christopher Walken is trying to get information out of Dennis Hopper.
Mm-hmm.
Dennis Hopper knows he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
So Christopher Walken's like, I can tell when someone's lying, right? There's all these ticks, and I can tell when someone's lying. So then Dennis Hopper goes on this whole thing about how Italians used to be white and blue eyed. Now they're not because of the Moors and everything like that. So it's basically he's calling him something that he didn't want to be called.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a hilarious, middle finger to him as the guy. And then Chris Walken just blows him away. It's a great scene. That's some acting. But you were talking about a book club, right?
Yeah, you were talking about the book club, and it just spiraled. So what were you gonna say?
It just spiraled. So great time with them. We had a great discussion. I actually referenced Vincent a couple of times and Reinhold like that because of that. They were talking about how they realized because they talk about our book conference. Well, we noticed most men don't read fiction, and I go well, do you count manga as fiction? You do. It's then most men will probably read more manga fiction. It's just
it's you just pull up the here's the spreadsheet. You see where it says 300 completed manga.
I was getting ready to pull up the database. They're we actually have a database stuff, just like how you do with a book club, like that. We have a database collection of this thing, Yeah. Producer Paul, of course, runs the database, but Vincent just adds data to it. Yeah,
all the time. I actually have 3 more to add.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to have them on to low key. They're gonna come. They want to come on low key. It should be a lot of fun. Them matching their wit with Vincent and Reinhold both, because Kat really wants to talk Star Trek, and and she really wants to be give Discovery another chance, and I'm I don't know if I can, so I'll figure both of you try to convince me to watch Discovery because I can't, but I'll watch Lower Decks. I'll marathon Lower Decks. That is hilarious. Tell anyone watch the Lower Decks.
I still think you'll like Strange New Worlds if you give it a shot.
I will probably like Strange World. It's kind of like season 3 in Picard when Cullen was just watch season 3, but season 1 and season 2 was bad. It's yes, it's bad. Just watch season 3.
I've heard reviewers say that season 3 was terrible.
Oh no.
I haven't seen it yet.
Say I was lied to. I haven't watched it either. I haven't watched it. I just, once Angry Joe looked like he was just done, it looked like it killed his childhood. I was I'm not watching this. I don't want to be there. I have Lower Decks, and it's making me happy.
I watch Picard because I want to know the story.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many flaws in the storytelling that it's annoying. But it's still Trek. It's better than 95% of the stuff that's out there right now. So you got to give it that, right?
Yeah. And I don't know. I think the other thing I can't have a problem with him keep going to the well of the Borg, and the Borg keep coming back, and the Borg Queen thing. It's just it kind of cheapens everything else that has happened. Just kind of when in Star Wars, there's Palpatine's back. He's not dead. I'm well, that just
Palpatine.
cheapens.
He's returned somehow. How? Somehow.
Throw up the spoiler tag real quick. I want to say something. Here's the deal. Season 1. I don't know if we need a spoiler for season 1, but season 1
healing coma
was moving along at such an interesting. I was really invested and interested. They had some interesting storyline that was going on, and it could have gone a lot of different ways.
Reinhold, did you watch it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So I the first 5-6 episodes, I'm in. I'm this is interesting. I could see where they're going. They could be going with this, and then they just do a twist where the bad guy is now suddenly helping out everybody, and the good guy is the bad guy. But it wasn't earned. It was just okay, now we're doing this. And it's oh, geez, it's those are interesting to do if you do them right. But when you do them wrong like that, it just throws you right out of the story. And then
So
the
it's a
very
classic
ending of it,
Disney villain twist.
yeah, and the very end of it was just like how they got out of this situation they put themselves in was the most hacky, stupid, tropey thing I've ever seen in my life. So that really put me off for watching season 2. I haven't seen season 2 yet, even though I love Q, the John Delancey. I watched him when he was doing soap operas. I used to watch Days of Our Lives. He was on Days of Our Lives playing a crazy scientist. He was hilarious on that show, and I fell in love with him then. When I saw him doing Q on Next Generation for that first episode, I was as happy as could be. So I want to watch it because I know he'll be good in it. But
Okay.
man, that story, the writing was just terrible at the end of the first season.
Okay. All right. Well, I congratulate you for making it that far. I couldn't. I watched them take. I don't know. It was, to me, it felt like I had the nostalgia factor. Like, yes, I would like to see some of the stuff done and back and see what happened. But I realized
after,
but I realized that I got the closure I needed from the movies. I don't care. I did.
I don't know. The last movie put a like. I want better ending. Nice craw.
And Lower Decks gave me the Riker I really wanted to see. You know.
So my thing with Riker is, Riker and Troy.
Mm-hmm.
When they did that whole thing with Troy dating Worf, it really irritated me because there is a book that was written in the expanded universe, as it were, is called Imzadi. That is so well done. It's such a great book about those two people and how they feel for each other and everything else. It's tear jerking. It's beautiful, and why they couldn't do something like that as a movie makes no sense to me. It would be great, but
all right. I've never read.
Gotta go to the Borg again, I guess.
Yeah, back to the Borg. Yeah, back to the Borg. You know, like there's so much.
Villains, bro.
Yeah,
I mean, I like that they brought 5 of 9 back. I mean, that was great, but
5 of 9.
Yeah.
5 of 9? 7 of 9?
7 of 9. What the hell am I thinking of 5 of 9? What am I?
5 of 9. Yeah, put
5 and dime. I think maybe is in my head. I don't know.
Watch
where I got 5.
5 of 9 is when he downloaded the wrong version. Of
I know he downloaded the wrong one.
That was an Azuran that was a crossdresser. That's what that was, and I don't know how that got confused with.
Okay, all right.
So
I mentioned
Star Trek. So
I mentioned to this spotlight. I mentioned to this spot. Yeah, Star Trek. We'll do some science stuff like that, and also like just talking like books and fiction like that. So
Terry Pratchett. We can talk about Terry Pratchett some more.
Yeah, I think it would be great. I think it would be great. We're bringing them on. I don't know if we can. I really want them on for a Friday episode. Because they are talkers. I really feel like trying to condense into this for an hour. They, especially with Reinhold. I think the two of them would just bounce.
So that reminds me of this thing that happened.
I'll just go like this, like, you know what?
Harry started to approach a topic, and literally every sentence you guys tangented into something else. He said 2 sentences about the book club.
Look, I'm on pain medication, so you gotta give me a break on that one. I've got an abscess tooth. I'm on all kinds of stuff. My face is swollen. You can't tell, but it is.
Reinhold's on the drugs.
Yeah, I'm on the pot or something.
No, you have to retell the original series, but with a female lead and make her the granddaughter of the Klingon nymph. Okay, Reinhold. Sorry, Reinhold. Sorry. I said what I said. All right, let's get back to the topic at hand. Let's do tabletop RPGs and character creation. So, one thing I want to talk about, one of the fun things that I always have is bringing spice and life to characters and character creation, especially when it's tabletop RPG games, is making and designing a character. I feel like I kind of like forced my love and some of the cool stuff with it onto Vincent and just hitting it over the head with a literal book on how to make character and character concepts. But
That is a literal understatement, and we can elaborate more on that in a minute.
but this is the thing that can really pull me into like just about any game. I have played into 2 different games before where I have no idea about the system. I have no idea about the system. I just made a character concept because I would say, like, please play in this game. And I go, like, I don't want to learn your system. And like, just learn the concept, make a character concept. We'll do everything else for you. Just go and have fun. And I have, and I play a lot of games like that way. And I think it helped reinforce, especially in my early 20s, that the character and the story, to me, when it comes to a TTRPG, comes first. I know to a lot of people that isn't, and I, from going like at a Tracy Hickman stuff, which Tracy was like, to some people, some gamers, they're not that way. That's not what comes first to them. And it's perfectly fine. That's not what comes first, because there are many paths to having fun. That's just not theirs. So mine is character creation. So like when you build, to me, like when it comes to like building the dice and the stats, it's kind of like it's this arduous part, because this is when you get to like some like the statistical parts of it, right? When you're trying to build like what brings your spice. To me, like I like to think of a character concept, I have to do it, and then backfill in some of the where I get for the dice, and like go through almost like once I get the stats done, like a mortar, like the bricks of my character concept, like, oh yeah, he's a great, like let's say like I'm building a wizard character for Paul's game, like he's a great wizard, he's fun loving, blah 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 blah, but it's like, oh crap, I've got a 17 on my intelligence and a 16 in my charisma. My guy's a huge showman also, not only is he a great wizard, highly intelligent, but he's also a great showman, fill in those little gaps.
Thank you, Christy. Welcome. And then
Hi, Christy.
Character creation is one of the best parts of most RPGs.
I never liked, like, okay, let's min-max my stats on my character because I want to play this. So I want to, at some point I like to say, here's the character, deal with the reality of what that character, we don't get to in our real life make our own stats, right? So we just have to deal with what we're given.
Right.
I kind of like that. I'd rather just pure random, and what I get is what I get, and I make it work.
Right. It's always great to have a character concept as well. Like, again, talking about the Paul's game, literally I made a character who is a rogue, like assassin, who is hemophobic. They're scared of blood. They don't want to see blood.
Hemophobic. Okay, I just want to make sure we're clear on what.
Yeah, they're afraid of blood. Yes, that's the point. Yeah,
be involved in that anywhere. Okay,
right. I was like, the what? Yes. My character's very
afraid of blood.
They're
afraid of blood, and I've basically built this character to be the different kind of it, the charisma, like stealth, like more of a thief kind of aspect of it instead of the murder things.
Yes.
But because playing a flawed character is way more fun than going, I am the perfect person that has ever existed in the world, and I have no flaws, and I must win.
Correct. Yeah. Are there there great tales about the underdog, people rooting for the underdog? I think those work great when it comes to the group. I think group tales of people who are flawed coming together and surviving the day, that's great. That's the reason why you like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. But there are solo tales of like they're perfect, blah 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 blah, because they're solo and they're the whole freaking team by themselves. And I think that's great if you're playing solo. Like, hey, do you want to play Hercules? Play Hercules. But it's got to be like Hercules and his amazing friends is kind of a boring game if you're not Hercules. I don't know if I'll show back after that.
Yeah. It's like Super Friends when you have to play Aquaman.
All right, home. We made you play Aquaman one time, okay? Stop throwing that in our face.
Flawed characters is always because that's how stories and narratives really work well together, especially in a written form. Is that you don't want your character to be perfect, because if they're perfect,
you
it
gotta
makes all the struggles pointless.
right. You've got to start off flawed in order to have a character growth or character arc in the story. That's why a lot of times people will start reading a book and the character won't hit with them because the character's got all these flaws. It's like, well, the character's stupid. He's doing this wrong. He's doing that wrong. It's like, yeah, he's got to learn, over a period of time. Now you have to do that quick. You can't just let somebody suffer for 2.5 books or something like that before you start going somewhere with it. But you also can't just make them gods straight out of the, out of the park. You can't do like Sword of Truth is, the character just could do no wrong ever. It's just frustrating.
There's a balance to a lot of those things. Is like if you have one character that is completely like too flawed, like you've bought like a million flaws for the most points or whatever, that character is not a fun and interesting character because they're not realistically flawed. They're flawed to a point of, I'm playing this paladin that has one leg and can only speak
like undercommon or something. Yeah, or something. Yeah.
It's like, then you're not having fun. You're just being a hindrance to everybody else.
Yeah. Or you have the Black Knight after he loses his arms and legs. All right, let's go.
Yeah. Or you play like a flawed character that just ruins the game for everybody else because you're flawed. So let's say like Vincent's Assassin. That flaw is terrible if it's a combat heavy game. That flaw would just like, okay, you are just putting everything at home, but let's see. Iski Lee G's. I like flawed characters better, and a bland character is only about demigods level 1. Okay. I don't know what she did is.
The other problem though is when you get into role playing games is that you end up with people who just start playing themselves as the character.
Yeah.
And making decisions like if they were them instead of making decisions like it was the character, and that's a tough tough line to cross to kind of wind down, but they're more fun, I think, if you look and how would the character react to this? How would they respond? And
a great example is the last game that me and Harry played. Is that like my character was a mother of 3, so yes, she could use his massive cosmic powers to obliterate that thing, or take care of her injured son and take care of him because that's what she would do. Where in my brain it'd be like, I could just obliterate this motherfucker like now and just move on with life.
I mean, the last time I played D&D I was with eventually Escalja because one guy left, and then Latro and Chip Jones, right? So we were playing online. We were all streaming the game, and we had very distinct characters in the fact that they would have traits that would do things that would be contrary to what we wanted them to do, which is really fun. So, and mine was a bit more amoral. So, and Latro's was like real big into a deity. So we would butt heads all the time with, you can't do that to this character. And I'm like, because I went up and, we were interrogating him. And he is like, I can get anything out of him. He's not going to tell me anything. So I just went over and zapped him dead. And Latro freaks out. You can't do that. I'm like, what? If you do this, he's going to die anyway. So you might as well, He's like, well, you don't do it while he's asleep. We had this big whole argument. It was hilarious. I clipped it out. It's find it.
Do it while he's asleep.
Those are the fun times.
This guy just follow up to fall characters being better. It's like the difference between Kirito from Sword Art Online and Kazuma from Konosuba. It's night and day, the difference between the characters. Where you have a character that is massively flawed and one that isn't.
Yeah. Don't lie. We had
he's not 100% wrong.
He got bodied by staircases. What? You get bodied by staircases?
He's not wrong. We would do a lot of dumb things.
At least you didn't burn down the Library of Alexandria.
Okay. I think we stopped before we got to that point.
Scalja knows what he did. Goucha knows what he did.
Oh my god, guys are terrible.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes,
But yeah, no, character flaw, but it's also the understanding the game that you're playing.
Mhm.
If everybody's playing gods, then it's okay to build a god.
Yeah.
If you're playing a level 20 campaign, then you're gonna play obscenely overly powerful characters.
Correct.
I got in trouble because I was playing a cyberpunk campaign, and my character was making a back end deal with the bad guy, and got found out, and everybody freaked out. And it's like, I mean, personally, got freaked out. Not like they got mad at the character; they were mad at me personally for doing it.
Mm.
And I'm like, that's what my character would have done. What are you talking about? It's in cyberpunk. Everybody screws everybody over. What's the deal here? You know.
Yeah.
And so they won't let me
I
play
feel
with them
you.
anymore.
I got banned from a table because we were playing a Watchmen style game, and so I was basically playing the comedian, and I got banned. It's like, you can't do that. Yes, I fucking can't.
Well, there's a
what I
fine
want.
line between what my character would do and doing something that is just cruel and then blaming it on your character. You know, sometimes that like your character will be like, "Oh, my character's an asshole. It'll do this." In comparison to I'm purposely being an asshole to the party and then saying it's what my character would do. It's there's a massive difference between the two, because if my character's a dick and I'm being a dick to NPCs and still cooperating and making things happen in the party, it's completely different compared to, well, my character is a paladin and I think that you're evil, so I'm gonna verify you're evil and I'm gonna kill you. It's like then you're not having fun. You're purposely killing.
Yeah.
You're purposely killing the campaign because you're being an asshole.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a big difference there.
Yeah.
Is that if my character is going to be a dick, at least don't be an asshole. Yeah.
Yeah. So my character do is that guy being over people. Yeah. Because I wasn't being that guy. I was just more of if you watch Watchmen, it was just being the comedian. It was
the line from Guardians of the Galaxy. It says he knows he's a dick, but he's not a colossal asshole.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like my character was getting crapped on. Like I just like nearly died saving the city, right? Nearly died. And you know, like someone was protesting us, like boo, boo. And I just I sat there. I was like, you know what? I just unload both barrels in this guy's face. What? I don't care. I just saved the city. I'm just gonna blow this dude's face off and throw him in the basement. Walk off. What? Don't care. One more. Don't care.
But if that's also how your character has been the entire game and everything before that is similar to that kind of action, then that's not out of the blue. It's comparative being like an asshole for no reason.
No. Like my character was just but he's just gone through some shit. This person's in his face, giving him shit. I'm supposed to just keep taking it. It's like, I'm done taking it. All right, so, but like I said, I like character concepts. It's fun, and I think that's also makes me love also like being a DM, game master, storyteller, is because I get to pop in different characters all the time. So like I'm always excited when I get to play just one character. It's a lot of fun.
Well, I mean, playing one character, you have a lot more agency than being the DM. Because being the DM, you're forced to play what everybody else is forcing you to deal with.
Yes,
and that's one of the bigger aspects of the two. Is that yes, you might like playing all the NPCs in the game, but you're the game system, not the player, basically.
Right. Yeah. So the other thing I want to talk to you is, I think on the docket, is when it comes to maps and map building. So I am a huge theater of the mind. One, I hate making maps and design map because I think it mostly becomes, which I'm finding out is more because I make a lot of games that are open world. I allow a lot of the times, I frustrate my players at my table because I present problems, there's clues, and the world's a freaking oyster, and they can do what the heck they want. I'm not trying to force or railroad them into something. And since I don't do that, making maps for me is more difficult because anything could freaking happen, versus like trying to force them into different things that are happening around them. It would be easy. I think it would be easier for me to develop maps because if I know, like, hey, there's probably like 2 to 3 different locations that they're going to go this game session, and I could probably easily sit there before the game session now and design like freaking map. But since no, you've got North America, it's kind of hard for me to make a map.
Mapping things out, it depends on what it is, because a lot of people use maps for things, especially if you're only staying in one environment for a long time, or if it's a dungeon crawl. Paul has a point. Sometimes you have clues for third graders, but we're actually napping as kindergartners.
Yeah, I think that was the problem with the one we were doing online, is the GM had set all this stuff up and we were just we're not catching his clues. It was obvious that we were missing, and I think he just got kind of frustrated and said he was done.
But that also kind of goes with understanding the concepts going into it. Like, if you want a solid example, is in that World of Darkness game that we were playing, you as the DM had to go through a process of, I know what they're capable of, so I have to scale everything to what they can do. But when we couldn't do it because we didn't understand it the same way you did, things were way harder. Because in your head, it's like, well, they're gonna be able to do this, this, and this. And when you realize, oh wait, they only use like a fraction of their abilities because they don't understand it like I do. things get way more complicated. It's like you can have amazing plots and ideas and thoughts and clues, but when you're expecting this person who can control time and space to figure out, all right, this is the time you're supposed to use your control time and space abilities, and they have no idea that that's what you have set up, it makes the plot a lot harder to deal with. It's okay to do, and because of that, the kind of games you like to run, maps aren't as easy to put out there because you're running like World of Darkness and the map is this city.
Go. Yeah, and anything you go to, you can go and just like, I just go to a random bar. Can you go to this bar that I've designed a map for? No. I want to go to, it's blank this time. I want to go to X bar, Reinhold's like, what are you talking about? All right, Reinhold, like, you play World Darkness. So it's basically, what years were you in? Like the 80s, right? What was the 80s?
It was like late 90s because
late 90s, yeah,
computers and stuff.
Yeah. So if I said you're like, it was 1997, you're in Indianapolis, and you're like, all right, let's go to a bar. You could go to any bar you wanted to in the city of Indianapolis in 1997. What bar are you going to?
There were 4 bars, like I think Jackals or something like that downtown at
there it is. Boom. He was like, there are 4 bars, and Harry has to pick one of the 4 to map out.
No, they're all right next. They're all like connected. They were all connected in the downtown mall. That kind of fizzled out eventually, but that was the place to go in the 90s.
Yep. Yeah, that was nice.
And Meridian Street had a couple good bars too. Meridian Street had some good live bars, like right next to each other, where the comedy club used to be too.
Oh yeah. Good comedy downtown Indianapolis. You've still got Helium, right? You've still got Helium. So, anyways,
is Helium downtown now? I thought some of them are closed, so I don't know where we're at on that.
I don't know.
Situation. But I go to Bloomington now because Bloomington's got the best comedy club in Indiana. So. Just saying.
He has a point there.
Oh gosh. No, he does not have a point.
Oh, it is the absolute fact.
He's like, yes, midnight. I was like, yes, when I was 3 years old, I knew exactly how Indy was set up.
Good. Glad you do. All right. Yeah. But no, yeah. So to me, it was always difficult because of I even did that like in D&D games. Like when I would play that, it's just like, I think maybe because I had like players like, well, I felt like you railroaded me to this. It's like, yeah, I railroaded you to my map. What?
Yeah, I got you to where the excitement is, or else you can be bored sitting at this place with nothing happening. I mean, you want to have some fun or not?
Oh yeah, I did play a game where like they're supposed to go get all the magical MacGuffin devices, and they didn't want to go do that. And then when they finally went to go do that, they realized like the bad guy found out about the magical MacGuffin devices and was upset that he got half of them already. Like, you guys were going after magical MacGuffins, so he was going after them. So he started going after him. You guys weren't there.
The first adventure I ran, we were just kids. I was like 14 or 15. Mm-hmm. And I got a module called the Temple of Elemental Evil. If anybody knows old D&D, that was like a big deal. It was a big, thick adventure. It was awesome. It had a lot of great stuff in it. And you start off going into this town and picking up clues by talking to the people in the town. Mm-hmm. My group goes in there and they're like, well, I'm just going to kill this guy. And this guy, when you get in a bar fight, they kill a bunch of people. And it's just like, you can't even start the adventure now because you just decimated all the people who were giving you clues to get to the place you needed to go.
Yes, the murder hobo.
Murder hobos.
Classic murder hobo.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm done. I never got to play that dang thing.
The thing about maps is also maps usually lead to combat. Maps is when people do a lot of maps, it's you have now planned ahead for things that you want to happen. So if like I have this dungeon set up and I make a map for it, then people when they see a map, they're expecting combat.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Especially if I bring a map out, like, oh yeah, this combat happened here.
But also you don't like combat.
No. Well, there's a whole system. I know Rollmaster did this and others did too, where you can have a whole on the fly encounters set up that not all of them are combat. You can have encounters where something good happens, something, that sort of thing. And if you do that, you can help yourself out in coming up with things on the fly, because sometimes you get stuck and you can't think of anything right off the bat. And you can refer to that stuff to kind of get you through and maybe lead a different direction. So there are tools out there. It's just.
So Scouge is thinking macro with maps, and we're thinking micro with maps, because the Scouge is like, oh no, I was making continents for you guys to explore and stuff, and you were talking about here's this room, here's this map of this room.
I have graph paper. The room is 5 by 10, right? So I'm mapping out a 5 by 10. I'm putting a door in the middle. That's how I used to do dungeons.
Right.
See, like I would do that for dungeons. Like when we were playing D&D 3.0, we're like, okay, we're going to go into a dungeon, right? I will design a dungeon that way. But like the campaign is like when I finally started getting outside of like dungeon crawls, like, oh no, there's an overlapping story. Let's go for all these things that are happening. It
reminds me of a funny little joke in Big Bang Theory when they're doing a D&D campaign and they go through and it's like, oh, you're in a dungeon, and he kind of looks at him and says, and you encounter a dragon, and then Sheldon's like, okay, come on, that's a little on the nose, isn't it? We're playing Dungeons and Dragons. He got kind of mad about it.
Come on,
theater in the mind works but also there's the other fact of how you envision the world is because you're so into character, and the aspect of character is that it's more free form for you to go in your head.
Yes.
Probably, Scouger, probably. But also, you also did a lot of LARPs.
Recorded for a live audience, so that wasn't a laugh track, but okay.
Yeah.
But you also did a lot of LARPs, Harry, which makes it also massively different because you're used to person-to-person interaction compared to on the mat.
Yeah. Walking around like a regular room, and you have to envision what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So because you're used to that and you're just in a regular room and you have to theater the mind literally in person while you're having conversations, it's natural for you to just do theater of the mind.
Yeah. It's easier. Just easier. The other one I want to talk about is what's like organization, how to keep your things organized. I've seen like there's a lot of been cool applications online, which I think is very helpful for like the newer DM or some of the modern DMs. I wish I could get used to using majority of them. I feel very like a very old timer when I try to, because I don't know how to use any of them, and I don't use any of them, and I wish I did use them so like it'd be easier to have people come to my table, because there's a lot of stuff that you can use for people to like help keep their things online so they can see all that, versus like, nah, bro, I got a folder. I'm gonna put your sheet of paper in this folder here, and I'll just print you out when I get it.
About like Roll20 or like the World Forge and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, which is, they're really neat stuff, like, so you guys can see your sheet. Everyone, like, you can easily print out your own, or I could still print it out. Everyone can see everything's going on. The organization, it keeps everything in one place, and even some of the ones where it keeps all like your notes, like Obsidian, like keeps, like, you can easily make notes in trees, so even like the players themselves can easily go back and like compile their notes together to watch the world form as they begin to learn new things. I don't do any of that. Everything I do is in a crusty old Trapper Keeper over there.
I mean, it's the same thing. It's just because it's digital, it's easier to do. You're not as forced to sit around and share pieces of paper. But even now, like even without that, you can use like, oh yeah, we have this shared Google Doc where we all take notes and share the comments and build the world the same way.
I love technology, and I love the idea of having OneNote and notes and everything digital and everything like that. But when I'm on a meeting with somebody and I'm taking notes, I grab a pen and paper. I still do it because it's just easier for me to do and think while I'm doing it. If I'm trying to type while I'm doing it, I don't think I'm as engaged. And I don't know why that is. I think it's just I'm an old Gen X guy, right? So it's just the way I think. So.
I project plan the way I was taught how to project plan back in the day. Many Post-it notes on a wall and pens and paper every time. I've got a
with string between them, pointing to who the ultimate boss is.
Okay, so
the conspiracy behind it.
Yeah, if I have to be a project planner like that, that's what my wall looks like sometimes. There's been a couple of times when I was at an office one time, I was like, "What the hell is going on? Making this make sense? Hold on a second."
Get Charlie dang it up.
Yeah, especially like with like Google Whiteboard, I could do that for that. But when I try to go like D&D game, it's like pens and paper. It's like I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I think maybe like I like it because of low distractions for me. I think I kind of want to join someone's table who is very high tech to get that experience, to force myself to do it. But at the end of the time, then it's just like I don't know. I respect people who want to do it, and I would help them, especially if they sat at my table. It's like, hey, Harry, it'd be great if you use this tool to help me organize. I will try my best, but when it comes to it, like,
but it's also what you're used to. It's the thing that you've learned how to play tabletop games with.
Yes,
like if for the new people coming in who just joined tabletop games with 5e and Roll20.
Yes.
That's natural for them. You come into them, it's like, all right, here's the player's handbook and here's your notebook to take all the notes. They're like, bro, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
because that's not how they learned how to play the game.
Yeah,
you guys have been playing what? Reinhold, you probably played since first edition D&D, yes, right? And then Harry's what, second ed?
Yeah, advanced second edition.
Yeah,
although I have to say, there's been a lot of years where I wasn't playing, so it's not like I have a lot of experience playing consistently since then. But yeah,
but still, it's more of like that's how you guys learned how to play. That's how you guys got comfortable playing it, because that's where you learned it. And for you, I almost could easily bring back that this is the environment for this, because a lot of people have certain environments for certain things.
That's why I like I still like graph paper when I do D&D. I want graph paper. We were playing the one where we were streaming it, and it was just like, okay, he'd tell you the room, and I'm like, I need to be able to write this down in some way so I can have a visual.
That's right. Easky Lee's Reinhold's first role play was playing one of the shadows in the allegory of the cave. That is 100% true. Those are facts. Facts.
Solid. Solid.
Fact checked. Good. All right.
Yeah, getting graph paper, and that's how you're used to playing it.
Yeah. That's how I roll. Like I thought about like okay, so I started trying to build something in Visio, and I realized I was going way into too much detail. So it's like, oh yeah, this thing would be 30 feet this way, 40 foot this way, we're gonna go like 60 feet in the air, and this is gonna be made of this material. I was like, I'd be really upset they never came here. I'm doing a lot of effing work here, busy
Right.
building a
And then they completely ignore it. They go somewhere else. That's not where the plot is.
Yeah, or burn the thing to the ground. Like,
Or they let themselves die before the plot can resolve.
That's true too. They just they could just die or choose to die. Choose to die. You just choose to let the death happen.
There's some issues in our last
game. Did you just want to do damage to me? Is that what you wanted?
I mean, that's we were talking about this. I assume that's what it is.
Well, Rhino, it's not. I don't see it as therapy. This is just more like I just want something I wanted to talk about. I have been because I finally got over. And like I said, I've been itching to play a game. I'm not really currently running one, and I think I'm not. And the game I was trying to get up, and I was going to try to pull you into. I realized that I think the start trying to get that game up and running. There's too poison for me. I think I've lost the thing for it. And I was going to have a lot of fun because I really was going to let the players that played in the other game come to this game and actually kill the. I purposely put in the bad guy in there as a semi-boss so they could just kill him. So they could have some satisfaction, right? And I get my big fight that I planned on, but they can still kill him, too. Mm-hmm. So their new players wouldn't feel like okay, we killed this guy, but they would be like, themselves, the players would just be like, take that, just yeah, we got him, we fucking got him, fucking burnt him. The player kids like, okay, we just that guy just attacked us, got him. All right.
So basically, Harry is basically saying the climax of our game got completely ruined, and he wanted to give us it again, but then he realized that he can't touch that because that's attached to that game. Now he wants to do a different game because it's all poisoned all the way down.
Yeah, just poison. Yeah. It's nothing worse than like having the climax of your game just like pull it out from underneath you. But that's over there. But I'm just thinking about deciding a new game, come up with a different concept. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I think the one person who would be who I would want into it, but as long as he tries to have fun in the game and doesn't try to like break out a slide rule and try to make it too science, it would be Reinhold. It's who I worry about.
I played games where we didn't even roll dice. It was all just what your character did, and the DM would say, yeah, I think that would work, and then that's how it would roll. We wouldn't even have to go that route. So I am not a rules lawyer, let me tell you.
No, it's not that. It's more of just going like if I give you a Gundam and you ask like what's powering this thing, and I said it's a nuclear reactor, like, well, I don't know if I want to be sitting on top of a nuclear reactor. With guns.
Would my character? That's the thing. Would my character care? And I would play the character the way the character would play.
That's good. I thought about just creating like a different energy source too. Like, so what does this thing run on? Unobtainium.
The hopes and dreams of children.
Yeah, that's what it runs on.
It's a doesn't existium.
Yeah, it doesn't existium.
Start using comic books as like it's run on Batmanium, which is a real thing in the DC comics. By the way,
shut up.
It's a real thing. It's a real thing in the DC comics.
Is it on the periodic table next to pink kryptonite?
I think that came out.
Table, sir?
Okay.
I think that came out during the campy years.
Mm.
Oh, Batmanium? No, that was recent.
Was it?
Oh, it's
that's recent.
Like Court of Owls recent.
Look at Ryan.
Like-
He's gonna cry.
like-
He's like, no,
like-
not my Batman. Look at Ryan. Like,
No, I haven't read Batman for over a decade, so this is not my Batman going on right now. My Batman got his back broke, and I was kind of over it at that point.
Fat Ryan gonna go hashtag not my Batman.
Reinhold's like, the only real Batman is Batman of Zero-Na.
Not into the whole Ra's al Ghul stuff. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Small little.
There's this magic pool that just brings you back to life. You know, shut up. All consequences are no longer important.
I mean,
It's neat if it's limited. Like it's limited and there's huge consequences going in, right? But the simple fact, like, if you just keep using it, or it is kind of like, what's the point? You know, even in Dragon Ball, like, oh no, he's gonna die, but we have like two differences.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Two differences of Dragon Balls, and we cool with a god. Okay,
and one of them is the universal Dragon Balls. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here.
Don't even care. It's like, so death means nothing.
Yeah.
Means nothing. And you got one person just, using the Dragon Balls to wish herself younger by 5 years. Okay. All right.
But like that's the issue with a lot. Like bringing that back to D&D is having consequences for your actions.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of issues that people have where some people just do whatever they want because the DM doesn't really enforce consequences, or the people who don't like having consequences and they get really upset when consequences happen to them.
Mm-hmm. Bad guy heals one time. What the? How dare he? Or all right, so I've been robbing the town blind. I'm getting successful in all my checks. You think you've been successful. What? They've actually alert the guards that everyone just didn't want trouble. They're coming for you.
Right? It's like, it's bullshit. I rolled high. But
It's like
you caused mayhem.
Yeah, you caused mayhem. Or they also don't care. People are being robbed. Get the new people.
Yeah.
Get the new ones.
But I was crouching.
Yeah. Oh, man, freaking crouching.
Yeah, it's consequences are honestly one of the things that really make or break a game, like a tabletop game for sure. Is that if there's too many of you died, but there's always a place for you to revive, and your death really doesn't mean anything. It's completely different to it being like this death is massively important, and it's mostly affecting to. All right, this game is just a meat grinder. You might as well just have 5 characters made before you walk in, because you're just gonna die, and we're just gonna bring a new character in because whatever. Yep. It's all about understanding where your game is.
Yeah,
you don't want somebody to just be able to go, well, I just put out another character because my last one just died again, but that's not what you just signed up for.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Underhill's cousin, and I know everything Underhill knows. I'm real join the party. Yeah, let's go. Step over grave.
Yeah.
Just step over shallow grave of your cousin. Continues the journey.
But I think the most important thing is knowing if you're compatible and setting reasonable expectations on both ends.
Yeah.
Correct. Like Session 0 is massively important. Having a Session 0 to understand where this is what the DM expects, this is what the players expect, so you guys can get to a middle ground of let's say like somebody wanted a lot of combat and somebody else wanted a lot of role play. Well, it's either that you guys are incompatible and you guys can't play that game that way, or there'll be a solid mix of both, so that somebody can get cashed in and somebody else can role play, and then you just have the trading off of things.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. Quick, I'm behind the pile of dead parts. Oh my god. But yes, yeah. I think also be able to realize like what you want from the game, if you don't want like combat, or you want more role playing, or you want more combat, or you want more lore, you want more you want something from the DM that lets you know that you're actually progressing either through the dungeon or through the story. You want some sort of, in-game ish milestones through everything. Just tell your DM, like, they want you to have fun. And then DM's also trying to have fun too, so he's not trying to like hurt you or do anything, but because they're friends most of the time, and they're also there at the table to have fun. The idea is you showing up to the table to show up to the meat grinder. That's not fun for him either, or her.
Well, I mean, it depends. It depends on who's running it. That's why session 0 is important. Is
Yes.
if the DM wants to play a massively heavy, massively difficult game, and you're a masochist that likes that kind of stuff, or like your favorite kind of combat is, if it's challenging and I barely get out through the skin of my teeth, you might want to play that game. It's just communicating and understanding. Like communication is, as in all relationships of any kind, is so important. Talk to them if you're having an issue. Talk to your DM. Talk to the players. Understand that this is an issue.
Yep. I remember playing in one D&D game, and the other players was always wondering sometimes, like, why combat, we just dodge combat. I would dodge combat too, and when we do get into it, such just a dredge, and it was only like a couple of counters that the players found out why combat was so difficult. It was my freaking character, because the DM saw my character sheet, knew what I brought. I just didn't use it. I was just like, I don't want to use any of that. I brought a very cheese optimized cleric. It was the it's my go-to build. It's very cheesy, and it can just wreck things really quickly, especially at low levels and low and mid levels, and which, in my experience, has been most games don't make it to level 20. Unless we start really high to get there. I usually don't get a character level 20 all the time. I don't know why. I shouldn't be barred from that, but yeah, I would bring in human, cleric, fighter, 2 levels of fighter, the rest all cleric, because this way I get everything good about being a fighter without the extra feats. But it's okay, because I'm going to dump a bunch of cleric stuff on top of it, and you just go to town. There's nothing like moving into someone's square, hitting them with an attack, and then leaving without hitting someone with Holy Smite, and then leaving without creating an attack of opportunity. Just walk off. Just leave. And since you have 2 levels of fighters, all your armor and weapon proficiencies are all just fighter weapon proficiencies, which, since you're casting cleric spells, you don't have the drawback of casting spells.
See, this is what I mean.
Chef's kiss.
Harry has spent a long amount of time perfecting the art of the cheese. And when he DMs, he has to factor in the art of the cheese. In that last game we played, the character that was given to me was the character if he were to play it, would have destroyed the entire game, because it wouldn't have been fair, because he already understood and fully grasped the abilities that they had. So he had to balance the game around if I figured it out like he had it.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it created a massive disadvantage for the players, because they don't think like he does.
Well, yeah. And that's also for the other characters that really kind of, like the vampires, really didn't understand that they were effing powerful at all either.
Right, that's my point. Is that
like, I'm weak. I was like, you have bashing damage. Bullets are bashing to you. What? Don't be afraid of guns. Be afraid of guns, because you shouldn't be. Just it's what like, if I hit you with 3 points of bashing damage from a gun, you're gonna have that, and then you can soak it with your full stamina pool. Go.
Right, but that's what I mean. It's just like that game in particular. You can definitely tell the difference of the 4 novelists playing with the veteran DM.
Yeah.
Who had to create the game around, what if they figure out that this character could basically warp time and space and never be able to get touched ever again? So I have to make the combat so if they figured it out, that I won't get bodied.
which I always loved was like because like it built like the big bad. It's like, all right, you're gonna shoot him. All right, since he's a vampire, he's gonna have that damage, right? Then he's got this other ability, so he's gonna have it again. What? He just halved your halved, and then he's gonna soak that at diff 5. Put your guns up. Put your guns. Put your guns up.
See what I mean, right?
Put your guns up.
He just stated things like, all right, cool. I have no idea how half of that stuff works.
I have your halved. I'm gonna have it. Cool. I'm gonna have it again. What? And then I'm gonna soak it at diff 5. What?
And mind
like
you,
the old 55 monk.
This is
and this is Word of Darkness, meaning that you're rolling d10s for everything. So you soak it at 5.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a roll of 5 or higher.
Mm-hmm. Soaked it. Oh no, you did me damage. I burned the blood to heal it. I don't care.
But it's more of just that. That's where it comes down to, is understanding and getting the understanding where everybody's coming from. Like for this game that Scourge is gonna run, understanding how each of our characters are gonna interact, and if me and Harry are gonna play characters that are not combat focused,
mm-hmm. Yes,
him playing a gambler wizard and me playing a thief rogue who's afraid of blood.
Yeah. Trust me. I like my first thing when I started looking at it was like, oh man, I'm gonna take it this spell. I'm gonna just be. That's against the concept. That's just this is more the concept. This is more fun. Yeah.
And it comes back to the beginning of character creation and concepts of sometimes min-maxing isn't fun.
Yeah. Min-maxing and yeah. It's also like what your character does, like also like outside of the adventuring. Like what did you do before you became an adventurer? And also understanding the adventuring aspect. I played games with people where like this dangerous quest, like, well, we can't do that. That's effing dangerous. You're adventurers. This is what you do. This is how you make money. Other than this, you're gonna go poor in town from drinking and doing nothing because you suck at your jobs, you know.
Right, like that. This character I'm making for Paul's name, I literally made Paul make up lore on the spot. Like, Paul, how does this work? I haven't thought that far. I need you to think that far, please.
Yeah, I need you to think that far,
so I can make this character fit into your world better, please.
It's better this way. Yeah. All right. Well, before this episode will get too long in the tooth and I start bringing up gas grills, let's go ahead and like try to round it out. Reinhold, did you anything you wanted to bring up or before we end this thing?
No, just the key important thing is that you're there to have fun. So try to have fun.
Yeah.
And realize everybody else is trying to have fun too. So don't crap on their fun just because you don't understand it.
A great thing is to remember that every game is unique. Not everything is uniformed. Not everything is Critical Role or the YouTuber you watched play D&D. Not every DM is going to be Matt Mercer or the streamer that you know or that one guy you played that one game with that one time.
Mm-hmm.
It's always good to remember that each game is unique and don't try to put everybody in boxes. And also, if you want to, there are plenty of channels out there to look up that talk about, you know, horror stories, people being ridiculous in RPGs, and understanding that using those is a little bit of an example of what not to do when it comes to it. You know, don't be a dick. Don't purposely try to edgelord it out and make your character unengaging or anything along those lines. So just enjoy the game and enjoy however you play it. If you're a combat monkey and you guys love fighting in dungeons and dungeon crawling and rolling dice and attacking, have fun. Get your group of people that want to do that. If you would rather set all the dice aside and just talk as characters in character, do that. You know.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. If hopefully this is spurred, and all you listening to this, especially if you made it this long in the episode, you either have played or want to play again, and hopefully I have this bug bite you too. So please go to a fight table and roll some dice, make some character, build some character. All right. But thank you.
Also remember, no D&D is better than bad D&D. If it's bad, leave.
That's true.
That's the most important thing. It's like, don't suffer. Don't force yourself to do something you're not having fun with.
Correct.
It's
It's
the
not,
game.
it's like watching a bad movie, and you're just like, oh, I got to watch the movie. You don't have to watch the movie. You get up and walk out.
It's a game. You're supposed to have fun. If you're not having fun, try to fix it or leave.
Try
No
to do
D&D is better than bad D&D.
Trying to do my ending thing, and you're like,
You're welcome. You're welcome.
We're helping.
Are you?
Yes.
Is that what you're doing?
I think we're
All
helping.
right. So just remember, like, you can listen to anything else in the world, but just had to listen to this episode, and that I thank you. Keep in mind that this is a live show on 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday night, so please come join, hang out with us live. If you download this podcast form, thank you. But before you come, hang out live with us on Mondays. We are still going to do like a live Friday show. I don't know which day we're going to do in March. It's going to be kind of tricky this March because spring break. For some reason, the kids get 2 weeks off now for spring break, which is bullcrap. Utter bullcrap. And one of them's on St. Patty's Day, so what the hell? So yeah, should be fun. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for listening. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.